Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tatvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badaraya Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara Vande Guru Parampara Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankara Vavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudiraye. So till where were we done yesterday, the Bela?
Hariom Brahmaraji, that was ecology part. But we can do 320. We can do it again 424. I think because my page was not opening. Only I was reading from.
So 424 onwards, is it? Disturbing the order?
Yes, 424.
Direct and indirect yajnas?
Yes, Brahmaraji.
The real meaning of bhakti was done?
Yeah. The meaning was of that time the page was opening, but after
Okay.
24 page was not. I was unable to scroll.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Should I start from real meaning of bhakti? And direct and yet. Yeah, let me start from here then. The real meaning of bhakti. Bhakti is not just chanting, although chanting is also bhakti. It is the appreciation of Ishvara and the order. This appreciation is what makes you sensitive and gives meaning to your life. Recognizing Ishvara is to be able to see more than meets the eye, more than what the eyes see. Bhakti is an appreciation of what is behind and what is in front, the order within the order, seeing everything as Ishvara. And this is also exactly what is meant by Karma Yoga. By any karma, you are either directly or indirectly related to Ishvara. Karma involves role playing. Something is expected of you. This action is to be done by you because you are placed in this situation. Therefore, you do it. This is how Ishvara's karma works. Otherwise, why are you in this place at this time? Why are you not elsewhere? There is a meaning here. You are in this place at this time because there is something to be done by you. This is the law of karma. You see that there is a meaning and that the situation is not a random one. Everything seems to have a cause and an effect. There is no randomness in the creation. To use Einstein's words, the Lord does not play dice. Even if he did, being omniscient, he would know exactly how they were going to fall. Otherwise, he would not be Ishvara. Therefore, he has no need to play dice. Situations do not happen randomly. They happen because they have to happen. If this is understood, you will find that everything, even relationships, becomes meaningful. To worship the Lord by doing what is to be done by you definitely requires that you see more than the eyes can see. You have to appreciate what is beyond the hands that perform the action, not merely the desire, but what is behind the desire. You should appreciate that the desire itself is born of Ishvara. This kind of appreciation is bhakti. In this way, the performer of action worships the Lord indirectly. Thus, there is a twofold yajna, direct and indirect. When you perform a karma, a yajna, in the form of a prayer, there is a direct relationship between Ishvara and yourself. You either invoke Ishvara in the form of a devata, a deity, or you invoke him as the Lord straight away. Either way, there is a bhakta, a devotee, and there is a yajamana, one who performs the karma. You can do the karma yourself, or it can be done by someone else, by proxy, as when you ask a priest to conduct a ritual on your behalf. Either way, the result comes to you alone, the yajamana. Direct and indirect yajnas. Karma that invokes a devata or Ishvara directly becomes a direct yajna. Any other karma done with an awareness of Ishvara becomes an indirect yajna. Because the yajna, direct or indirect, is done for the sake of Ishvara, Ishvara is also called yajna. This section of the Gita provides a beautiful description of bhakti that converts karma into yoga. Everything can be seen here, the order, the ecology, and so on. At every level, there is an ecology. The ecology of thought, the ecology of karma, the ecology of action. Ecology is an excellent word, having brought into light a certain understanding that did not exist previously. Ecology is now a commonly used word because there is necessity for it, pollution now being a recognized problem. Ecology is recognized here at different levels. Before we go further, I just want to read what the dictionary meaning of the word ecology is. We all understand, but let me just read the dictionary meaning. It says the branch of biology that deals with the relations of organisms to one another and to their physical surroundings. So ecology is the study of relationships between living organisms, including humans, and their physical environment. Ecology considers organisms at the individual, population, community, ecosystem, and biosphere level. So basically, it is the interrelationship between different living organisms. That includes human beings and their environment. So at every level, there is an ecology, the ecology of thought, the ecology of karma, the ecology of action. Ecology is an excellent word, having brought into light a certain understanding that did not exist previously. Ecology is now a commonly used word because there is necessity for it, pollution now being a recognized problem. Ecology is recognized here at different levels. All the devatas, all the elemental forces are doing their jobs and should not be disturbed. Because you are a conscious being with a free will, even the ecology of the divine forces can be disturbed by your actions. If you are abusing your free will, you are disturbing the ecology of dharma, which is going to affect all humanity. Whatever is disturbed is not going to remain without producing undesirable results. There is an order, and wherever there is an order, there is ecology. Here, Krishna was talking at the dharma level. Dharma alone should govern your free will. Once freedom is given to you, you can do whatever you want. There is no hindrance whatsoever. If freedom can be hindered, it is not freedom. Therefore, because you have a free will, you can commit homicide and even suicide. Since there is the possibility of abusing freedom at different levels, there should be an ecology with reference to the freedom given. It seems that the only ecology we are concerned about disturbing is the ecology of the flora and the fauna. This attitude comes from human selfishness. We tend to think only about how we are going to be affected by this or that. But there is so much more to ecology than this. Ecology is the very awareness of one's actions and how they have an ever widening circle of reactions. When a stone is thrown into clear water, it does not just drop to the bottom. It creates ripples, which keep on widening and widening into bigger and bigger circles until finally they lash upon the shore. Similarly, any action creates extended circles of response. So it is not just an action, it is also your thought, it's at different levels. It is ecology of your thought, ecology of karma, the ecology of action. Disturbing the order. Any action that disturbs the order, the dharma, will definitely bring about disorder, adharma. Because you are given freedom, your freedom should be controlled by dharma. If at all there is a control, it is conformity to dharma. And if you do not conform to dharma, you will cause an ecological disturbance at the dharma level, resulting in various conflicts and problems. In this section of Gita, you will find how the universe moves within an ecology. It moves in a certain order, and any disturbance in that order is a disturbance to you and to everyone else. Awareness of this fact is what makes a person a karma yogi. Karma yoga must be clearly understood. Because it is not an ordinary attitude, it takes a lot of maturity, awareness, and sensitivity. To simply say that one should love God is just so much Sunday talk. It means nothing. How can people who are not able to love their own mothers or those who care for them love God? You do not even know who this God is or whether he exists. Bhakti is no joke. You must have a heightened awareness of the whole at the level of the manifest. This heightened awareness is bhakti and is what makes you a karma yogi, as we shall see later in this group of verses. Arjuna was told by Krishna to take to karma yoga, and he was also told that karma, action, binds the person who performs the action. Thus, there seems to be a problem here. Action implying a doer brings the doer the results of the action. The results of action are either seen, drishta, or unseen, adrishta. Seen results are those you see immediately in this life itself. You can relate directly to them. When you boil water, for example, the boiled water is a result that is seen immediately. The same actions can also bring about unseen results. Those that are not seen by you now, but will come either later in this life or in the hereafter. A prayer is a ritual. Prayer or a ritual is a karma that brings about an unseen result. For example, Putra Kameshti, the name given to a ritual performed for gaining a son, produces result in this life only. How it happens is not known. Only the outcome is seen. The connection between the ritual and the result not being seen, the result is called adrishta. That actions produce both seen and unseen results is unfolded by the Shruti. How action binds the person. In this way, we see that action does indeed bind the person. It keeps the doer going all the time. Whether the result is good or bad, punya or papa, the doer is always there as a samsari. For one who can discriminate between the real and unreal, even a good result is a shackle. A good result may mean that a particular situation is a little more comfortable, but it is not going to completely change the person in terms of his or her sense of limitation centered on the I. A person can become the president of a country because of some punya alone, not merely because of his or her qualifications. You may say it is a fluke of chance, whereas we attribute it to some good karma. Even though a highly qualified person may repeatedly contest the presidential elections, he or she may never win. For the highly qualified person, the unseen result of winning a presidential election may not be there, whereas for a lesser qualified person it is. And even if you do become the president, there will still be problems. Perhaps you think your nose is too big, and having to be constantly in the public eye, you feel you should undergo surgery. Like this, some problem or other is always going to be there because simply by becoming a powerful person in society, no one is going to alter his or her sense of limitation centered on the I. Therefore, even punya, good results, are a shackle, a golden shackle. Whether one's shackle is made of gold or iron, it is still the same. A discriminating person knows that both punya and papa are the cause for bondage, the cause for samsara continuing. Karma does not cause samsara, it perpetuates it. There is no need to cause samsara because it is already there. Since karma perpetuates samsara, instead of releasing you from it, why should I do karma becomes the question. In this verse, Krishna also acknowledged that karma is the cause for continued bondage, bandha hetu. There is no doubt about it if karma is done for reasons other than yajna. Here, yajna does not refer to the ritual itself, but to the one for whose sake it is done, Ishvara. By saying that yajna is Vishnu, the one who is all pervasive, the Shruti makes it clear that yajna is the Lord. Similarly, in the verse 24 of chapter 4 of the Gita, everything is seen to be Brahman, the Lord. The one who performs the ritual is the Lord. The place where it is performed, the oblation itself is also the Lord. The mantras, ladles with which the oblation is offered, and so on are the Lord. And so is the result. This means that there is nothing to gain. Everything belongs to Brahman because everything is Brahman. Karma as an offering to Ishvara does not bind. Krishna said here that karma only binds a person when it is performed without recognizing the Lord. When karma is done for the sake of one's ragas and dveshas, without considering the dharma as Ishvara, then it is bondage. One gains only the results known as punya and papa, those that come from performing kamya karma, actions done for the sake of one's likes and dislikes. Only in this way can it be said that karma binds. It is true that if kamya karma is done, keeping dharma and adharma in view, no papa is incurred. However, only when karma is done for the sake of antahkarana shuddhi does it become a means for moksha. Only then is it yoga. I will just read this footnote. This is the verse 24 of chapter 4. Brahmarpanam brahmahavihi brahmagnau brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. Karma becomes yoga if it is yajna, done for the sake of Ishvara, as a propitiation to him or for antahkarana shuddhi. If this is not the case, then even worship, prayer, and so on become kamya karma, performed to fulfill one's ragas and dveshas. There is nothing wrong in doing this, but one should know that performing karma in this way is bondage. So basically, we should bring in this aspect of Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi in all of our actions, day-to-day life, even when we pray. It is not so that we pray so we get some comfort or, get our problems solved. They will anyway be solved in the way they have to. But with this attitude that everything is Ishvara, then it becomes karma yoga. Therefore, Krishna said, do karma properly for the sake of the Lord as a yajna, as propitiation. And how should this karma be done? By being free of attachment. What binds you to karma are your raga dveshas alone. Karma itself does not bind you. For a jnani, a wise person, there is no problem at all. Karma does not bind the person. And for a yogi, one who is not controlled by his or her raga dveshas, karma is an indirect means for gaining the knowledge that is moksha. Thus, Krishna told Arjuna that whether he looked upon himself as a jnani or a yogi, there was no problem. You find that your previous karma, prarabdha, has brought you to a given situation. With reference to action itself, you simply have to do what is to be done by you. Another aspect of karma yoga concerns your response to the results of action. You have certain likes and dislikes, and in keeping with dharma, you fulfill them. At the same time, you are prepared to accept the results of your action as prasada. In this way, your response to the results of action is also karma yoga. The action mentioned by Krishna in this verse was not meant for fulfilling Arjuna's raga dveshas. It was action to be done simply because it was to be done. Arjuna said he did not want to fight because he did not want the kingdom. Since raga dveshas were not involved, why should he fight? Krishna's response was that the matter was no longer in Arjuna's hands and that what was to be done by him must be done. Raga dveshas have to subserve dharma. What is to be done, we have to do without being dictated to by an utilitarian attitude. This is a beautiful sentence. Raga dveshas have to subserve dharma. So dharma has to be uppermost. And that is what should direct what one should do. And each one is given that particular situation. It is not random. There is no randomness in creation. Everything is preordained. That is the law of Ishvara. So you are in a particular situation because of your prarabdha. And then whatever you do, whatever you have to do it according to dharma, not according to your ragadveshas. You can't say, because I like this, I will do it this way. As long as it is according to dharma, you can do it. But if it is verging on being adharmic, then you pretty well not do it. But the problem with us is we are so, most of our actions are directed by the selfish motive of fulfilling our ragadveshas, likes and dislikes. So that ecology that Swamiji was talking about, the ecology of thought, is what we have to refine. Refine it so that it is in tune with dharma. And also recognizing that Ishvara is there. Ishvara is the karma phaladata. Then that bhakti comes in, and then it becomes karma yoga. Otherwise, we will remain karmatas or karmis. How action becomes yoga. Actions are almost always dictated by a utilitarian attitude. What will I get out of this? How much will I get? And so on. But here, Krishna was saying that if something is to be done by you and you do not want to do it, you had better do it anyway. In this way, action becomes the yoga. Krishna was talking about a karma yogi here, one who is qualified to do karma. The jnani is not being addressed at all. For the jnani, there is no problem because the person knows that he or she is not the doer. There is nothing to be done. The karma yogi, on the other hand, still thinking that he or she is the doer, continues to perform action until knowledge is gained. Explaining why karma is to be done, Lord Krishna continued. Does anyone want to pause and add, or before we go to the next verse? Lord Krishna continued. Saha yajna praja srishtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam eshavostvishta kamadhuk. Pura in the beginning, prajapatihi, the creator, saha yajnaha, together with yajna, prajaha, human beings, srishtva, having created, uvacha said, anena, by this yajna, prasavishyadvam, shall you multiply, eshaha, this, vaha, for you, ishta kamadhaka, is the wish-fulfilling cow, astu, may this yajna be. In the beginning, the creator, having created human beings along with yajna, said, by this yajna shall you multiply. May this yajna be a wish-fulfilling cow for you. You know, I'm just reminded of in the Mandala Vatika, I think some of us here are in the Mandala Vatika. There, apparently, the way creation happens is by just using a simple formula. You know, if you break down how creation has happened, using a simple formula, you just go on repeating the same thing. So from simple, you build complex structures, complexity, and there is a replication. So that is probably how the creator actually began creation. So there is this beautiful thing called the Mandelbrot equation. Mandelbrot sets, it's called. just a simple equation, that is, I think C is equal to some constant plus C, or X is equal to X plus C square, C2 or something. There is a particular equation.
MC square.
No, not E is equal to MC square. That is theory of relativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one is a simple equation where you go on changing that X, and it brings about beautiful, complex, complex structures. You start with a very simple thing. You just go on reiterating it, go on repeating it. And that is how creation has happened. So this verse 10 is exactly what science now has brought about, saying this is how creation must have happened, using a very simple equation. So in the beginning, the Creator, having created human beings, along with Yajna, said, by this Yajna shall you multiply. May this Yajna be a wish-fulfilling cow for you. Prajapati means the Creator, the Lord of all beings, called Brahmaji. The statement, in the beginning the Lord said, refers to the Veda. The Veda is a body of knowledge considered not to have been written by anyone. Instead, it is looked upon as knowledge revealed to the ancient sages, rishis, by the Lord. So when, going back again, when he says, in the beginning, the Lord said, let there be creation. So that word came first, the sound came first. The sound was there before creation. And going back, that is why when you look at science, physics and all that, and how the science of creation, the Big Bang and everything, it is first there was the sound and then there was light. So therefore the sound, the sound Om, therefore is called the universal sound. Apparently there was this Om, and then from there everything created. And even when we learned the meaning of Om, how Swamiji describes and the beginning and the end, and everything is contained within it. So all this actually falls in place. So you're connecting the dots. So in the beginning, the Lord said refers to the Veda. The Veda is a body of knowledge considered not to have been written by anyone. Instead, it is looked upon as knowledge revealed to the ancient sages, rishis, by the Lord. When the Lord said, then, is in the Veda, and what he said is for the sake of the human beings he has created. Animals, being programmed, do not need the knowledge contained in the Veda. Along with human beings, the Lord created yajnas and enjoined everyone to perform the rituals and other karmas found in the Veda. Vedic rituals cover all phases of life. Even before a child is born, a ritual is performed. The Sanskrit word for wife is patni, and for husband, patihi. The letter I in pati is replaced by n and the feminine suffix I is added to form the word patni, meaning wife. The Panini Sutra that describes this grammatical rule states that the substitution is only done when a woman is connected to a man for the purpose of doing yajna, meaning a Vedic ritual. A man marries for this reason, since without a wife, he cannot perform certain rituals enjoined by the Veda. So the reason why a man marries a woman or a woman marries a man is so that yajna can be performed. I'm just reminded here, I don't know why this thought came, in age-old times, I think in the Vedic times, even Mahabharata times and all, there was no question of divorce, isn't it? I don't remember anyone divorcing in any of our mythology like Bhagavatam or Mahabharata, Ramayana, where the husband leaves, divorces the wife.
Jai Gurudev.
Yeah.
May I add here? Actually, this concept or idea, there is no any proper word for divorce. This separation concept was never ever there in the Vedas and in our tradition. The word has come from Islam and from Christianity. That is for sure. So you will not find an equivalent proper word for divorce, and that some special word is there in Urdu also, which we don't have in our any of our languages, Indian languages. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you. Because if you look at all what we've read before, it is because of your prarabdha you are put in a certain situation. For instance, you are married to person X, and that person X is not, well, not the best of people maybe, but because of that person X, you have problems X, Y, Z. So you have to do what is to be done. That is your yoga. That is your karma that you have to do. And you do it as an offering to Ishvara. So no matter what. In fact, in our mythology, there are a number of stories, if I remember, that where the husband is a womanizer, still the wife continues to serve him. I think there was this story in Dattatreya, the story of Dattatreya, I think, wherein this woman is continuing to serve him. She serves him with all that love.
Sumati.
Sumati, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
there, this beautiful word of how Panini Sutra describes how what Patni actually means is that a woman is connected to a man for the purpose of doing yajna. So the question of divorce itself does not come at all in our scriptures, in our Vedic, according to Vedas.
But there is Sri Ram has Sri Ram त्याग किया ना सीता माई का.
Did not divorce her, no.
Not divorce, but they separated. Plus Shakuntala was abandoned. So there may not be a word, but those were some instances, isn't it?
But Shakuntala abandoning was because he had forgotten. It was not like he did not like her and therefore he left
what
her.
I mean to say, there had been separations, but there may not have given, the word was tag only, right?
No
divorce was not
is
there.
Willfully leaving is probably, you can call it divorce, which like our other members said, there is no such concept, because when two atmas are joining, that is what marriage is for us in our Hindu culture. When two atmas are joining, it's like one glass of water and another glass of water are put into a common vessel. They got mixed. How do you separate which water is what? That is how our concept of marriage is. So there is nothing called divorce. And like Gamra said, that Dushyanta and Shakuntala, that was due to the curse, he forgot. And the moment he remembered,
sorry,
he
your voice
repented.
is not very clear. Can you?
Okay, now it's okay, no?
Now it's better, yeah. Thank you.
No, the thing is, there is no willful leaving of any person in the Dushyanta Shakuntala also. That is purely due to curse, as Ramda rightly said. Due to the curse, somebody forgot it. It was not willing. And like Rama and Sita also, first and foremost, it was Sita's wish to go to Muni Ashram and Rishyashrama and
We can't hear you, Prem. You're off.
the coming back to the point, there was never ever. In fact, to be very plain and honest, there were cases like the wife of Brihaspati leaving him, or temporarily she is going, she went off to Chandra. There is also that kind of a story. Even then, when she came back, Brihaspati did not say get lost. He accepted and took her back. And even the Hindu Shastras say, even if the wife strays away this way, that way, and comes back to the husband, it is the bounden duty of the husband to accept and honor her. That is the height of the acceptability in our Shastra. Hari Om.
See, for instance, Mandodari and Ravana. Mandodari was a very devout devotee. She knew what her husband was doing was wrong, but she did not divorce him, right? She stayed with him. So this concept of staying together, in fact, the question of separation did not arise at all. They just took that as prarabdha. If you are married to a person, it is it is your prarabdha. That is it. Whether he is good, not
Only
good.
the word viyoga is there. Viyoga is there. No, there is nothing called divorce. Viyoga is just that losing your dear one, like Rama, that patni viyoga, like that. If someone, like one of the husband or wife dies,
Your voice is
the
very
other
broken.
member is a viyoga. That's all. Yeah.
Prem, your voice is very broken. You need to just check your audio.
There is something called viyoga. Like
Okay.
if one of the husband or wife dies, the other person what he or she suffers is viyoga. That's all. There is nothing called. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Jai Gurudev, there was a concept of like keeping many queens for a king. There was it was maybe a tradition, or maybe that also must be a reason that nobody was separated. No wife was. King used to have many wives. So the concept of keeping many wives did not had this, no situation was created to give a divorce or to separate a particular wife, because all would be remaining in the same place, same palace.
That's
Suniti, Suruchi, they were staying together. Though one was, I mean, this was a story. Like when we were young, we used to. One was, I mean, Suruchi was liked by king, but not Suniti, right? So they were
they have
staying
a
together.
preference. Yeah, they have a preference to one, but they do not divorce. Yeah.
Even the Kaikai was more favorite than Rama's mother for Dasharatha. Rama's mother was not a favorite of Dasharatha. Kaikai was very, very, very favorite and dear to him. And she was from that area of Afghanistan. Kaikai also, and here also that Dhritarashtra's wife, Gandhari, was also from that area. So all main female characters of our this thing, they come from those terrains of Afghanistan.
Right. So I don't know, it was just a thought when I was reading this thing, but let's get back on track.
Excuse me, Brahmana.
Yes,
that
Guruji.
yen, I did not understand that, the Sanskrit yen.
Yeah. So the word, see, Sanskrit word for wife is patni and husband is pati. There is an e that is there, right? So the letter I in word pati is replaced by n and suffix I, is added to form the word patni, meaning wife. The Panini Sutra, I think there's a footnote there. Let me check check the footnote 1 second. Patyurno yajna samyogo. Patyurno yajna samyoge. Samyoge. That is the meaning of patni. So the Panini Sutra that describes this grammatical rule states that the substitution is only done when a woman is connected to a man for the purpose of doing yajna, meaning a Vedic ritual. So you become a patni only when only to do this. Or I'm
Means
sorry, that's not the
yajna.
Yeah,
Excuse
right.
me.
Yeah.
That na has to be attached to this pati.
Pati. Yeah.
Yajna, no? The last word of yajna. No.
Yeah.
That has to be attached to the pati.
No, yajna samyoge. The na is added only for the purpose of doing yajna. It is not because yajna has na that it is that. I don't know whether it's because of that, but the N is added. This grammatical rule states that the substitution is only done when a woman is connected to a man for the purpose of doing yajna, meaning a Vedic ritual. Yeah, probably. I'm not sure whether the na is come because of the yajna. That way it could be ya also, right? Why only na? Anyway, I think that's going too deep into, it's a total deviation.
Grammar that is.
Yeah, let's not get caught up in that circle. So basically, pati, patni, the reason the wife becomes a patni is so that she is connected to, for the purpose of doing yajna. But we have seen that Vedic ritual is not, yajna is not just Vedic ritual, right? Yajna is beyond Vedic ritual. It could include all your actions, whether it's Vedic or whether it's ritualistic or non-ritualistic. So a man marries for this reason, since without a wife, he cannot perform certain rituals enjoined by the Veda. So this was according to our Vedic knowledge. Most Vedic rituals require one's wife Patni to take part. Although the husband Pati actually performs the ritual, he cannot do so without his wife's permission, nor can he perform it without her. Therefore, the marriage itself has a religious purpose. The very taking of a woman's hand in marriage, accepting another person into one's life, is religious. The woman herself...
I think for doing yajna, you have to light the fire, no? The patni has to do it.
Correct.
Otherwise, no fire at all.
That is the custom.
Custom, no fire, Without the patni.
No, the thing is, Bharya is called Ardhangi in Sanskrit, which means that clearly indicates, even on the broader sense, that Ardhangi means she is half of you. So without her, you are doing, it is only the half of the creation doing the yajna, which is not acceptable. It has to be the full. So the Ardhangi also has to come and do and take part in it. That is what it means.
Hari Om, this has given such a beautiful meaning to the institution of marriage. I believe, I think every young, those who are going to get married, I mean, this lesson, it is to be taught in a very beautiful way for mutual understanding of each other's role for the society at large. This is very beautiful and profound.
There will not be any question of, see, only when you bring in your raga dveshas does divorce happen, isn't it? When that is not there, when you're doing it as a yajna, as karma yoga, there is absolutely, it's a beautiful blend. Yeah. I think, yes, this education has to go to the youngsters, the current generation. The very taking of a woman's hand in marriage, accepting another person into one's life, is religious. The woman herself need not perform any Vedic ritual because she naturally receives half the results of the rituals that her husband performs. And the results of any sins the husband may perform belong to him alone. Thus, she wins hands down. So it's good to be born a woman and that to become a wife.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I mean, encouraging. This statement is like she is contributing for the good things, but for the bad things, she is not there.
He's not part of that. She doesn't need to take part of that.
One question I have, like if the wife does all the good things, then the husband don't receive the
Does
half.
not receive. Does not. It remains with her.
Okay.
I wonder why this came up. It'll be interesting to know why this rule has been there.
But it should be shared, like both are together.
Ideally.
So one is
Ideally,
doing
yes.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to know the root cause, the basis of this rule.
Is it to do with XX chromosome and XY chromosomes? Because he'll be carrying the Y chromosome and the DNA, that's why the Gotra and all has come. Is there a connection?
I don't know. See, if she gets the punya, half of the punya of the husband performing a ritual, but then she does not take part of any of his papa, that seems a little, I don't know. Right now, I can't think of any plausible reason why this is. But this is what the Shruti has ordained, and maybe at the right now at this point, we just have to go with the Shraddha that this is what it is ordained. This is how the rule is. That's it. Probably this is what.
I believe one of the reasons will be because of the creation, the creative, creative aspect which is inborn in the woman. She's creating a new life, Prakriti.
I think in chapter 9 or 10, the qualities of Daiva, the female has the Sri, Kirti, beauty as a natural gift of Daiva with her. The 6 qualities. I think chapter 9, I mean.
I think we're talking of in the Vibhuti Yoga, maybe.
Vibhuti Yoga, or 10, I don't know. That the Daivic quality, in the feminine is natural. That Sri, Kirti, beauty, Dhruti, and Smriti, the 6 qualities come natural to the female. The Daivic quality.
But how is that related to this? How is that?
I mean, therefore, whatever good qualities, she has that Daivic quality. Even one Daivic quality also, Papa is dissolved. So the husband's Papa will not touch her.
Yeah, I think we're all speculating.
Like that.
Yeah, we'll
I
park this
think.
idea for now. I think what the
Hmm.
best thing maybe we should do, it's good to know why this is, but for now, we'll go with the Shraddha that this is what the Shruti ordains. If the husband performs the ritual, the wife gets half the punya. But if he performs any sin, the sin remains with the husband.
But the negative of wife also, Didi, remains with her only, right?
Yeah, of course. She will
No,
not share it
so,
with the husband.
yeah. So positive, I think, grows with sharing, maybe like we always tell, joy increases with sharing. Positivity grows with sharing. And of course, negativity of both remains with them.
With them.
With them.
That's a nice way of looking at it. And then it is only because, see, the husband gets the right to perform the ritual only because his wife is with him. Only when he becomes a husband does he gets the thing to perform those Vedic rituals that a grihastha performs. So therefore, the adrishta phala that comes out of the ritual comes to both of them. That could also be a reason.
In the ashram also, Bhanu Didi and Anna perform all the, they are the yajman for all the yagyas which happen in the ashram. Gurudev never is the yajman for that, if you remember.
Correct. Because Gurudev is considered, that is true. What you said is, huh? Although the wife is not required to perform rituals, she has specific duties related to them, such as preparing certain food. In this way, there is a sharing of responsibility. The husband performs the rituals and the wife gives her permission and attends them.
Because Jnani is not need not have to do yajna also, I think.
Correct.
Yajna, he is not, means he is full. Yajna is only for the karma yogis only.
In this way, there is sharing of responsibility. The husband performs the rituals and the wife gives her permission and attends them. Because she enables him to be qualified to perform the rituals, she is called Patni, meaning that she is connected to Yajna. Thus, inherent in the grammar of such words as Patni is the Vedic attitude about marriage. This is very beautiful. There are Vedic rituals performed for the consummation of the marriage, for impregnation. Again, a Vedic ritual is done during the 7th or 8th month of pregnancy for the safety of mother and child. When the child is born, the ritual called Jateshti is performed by the parents on the child's behalf because the baby cannot do it. Then there is a naming ritual, Namakarana, which is similar to the Christian christening ceremony. During the first year of the child's life, there is a ritual during which the baby's ears are pierced. This is also said to have some acupuncture value. A ritual for removing the hair may be performed at the same time or later. In the 8th year or the 12th year, depending on which group the child belongs to, another ritual is performed for initiation into the Veda. A mantra is given and the child is referred to as one who is twice born, the second birth being the result of the initiation ceremony. From this time onwards, a male child is to perform certain daily rituals, and when he marries, as we have seen, certain other rituals are to be performed also. Thus, in the Vedic vision, a child is born of rituals and is maintained by rituals. Certain rituals are performed.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
In that 8th month or something, that ritual, you slide it down a little bit, so you'll get there. That in the again, a Vedic ritual is done during the 7th or 8th month of pregnancy for the safety of mother and child. What is the meaning of that? Safety, how
They
it
do
is?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, Simanta, yes. Simanta is there, but how it is connected to safety of mother?
See, all these rituals are done. They invoke divine forces. Where is that? I had actually shared this thing about the Vedic rituals. Yeah. It is like...
Can you post it in the...
It was already
group?
posted once. I have posted it once, but I will... I'm just trying to see where it is. Yeah, Shodasha Samskaras, I've posted it. I'm just...
Also, Didi, aren't they crucial months, very important months, for a pregnant woman, 7th and 8th?
Yeah. So I will just read this, Shodasha Samskaras, because it's relevant here. I'm reading up from the website, Vedic VDS website. Samskaras literally mean impression, but another meaning is to refine or purify. The purpose of life is to understand who we really are and fully blossom in love. As human beings, we undergo various stages in life: childhood, education, youth, professional life, marriage, parenthood, etc. Almost all cultures and art and traditions mark and celebrate these stages in the journey of life. Our ancient Vedic tradition identifies 16 such important milestones in life, and we collectively celebrate them. These are called Shodasha Samskaras. Life is a celebration. In celebration, people come together with enthusiasm and uplifted spirit. It brings happiness and harmony in the society. Samskaras in the Vedic tradition are celebrations which include pertinent ceremonies, performance of rituals, homas, chanting of mantras, use of specific herbs, fruits, flowers, grains, etc., obtaining blessings from the elders and family. The samskara ceremonies produce positivity in the mind, bring fulfillment, success, and harmony in every stage of life. Samskaras strengthen the emotions, protect the body and mind. The Shodasha Samskaras also have deeper spiritual significance and are the best performed by qualified pandits under the guidance of a spiritual master. Shodasha Samskaras identify samskarar rituals as eminent landmarks from womb to tomb of an individual. The samskaras are based on ancient texts, Manusmriti and Grihya Sutras. So what are the samskaras? I'll just take a moment and read. I'll repost it. You can all read it in the group. First is the Garbhadanam. It's performed to kindle love and harmony between the newlyweds. There is more about it. I'm not reading all the extra thing. I'm just reading the main things. The second is Pumsavanam. This is celebrated in the 3rd or 4th month of pregnancy, customarily after the pregnancy becomes noticeable, but before the baby starts moving in the womb. So scientific it is. Then the third is Simanto Nayanam. That is, the third of the 16 samskaras is mentioned. It is observed in the last trimester of pregnancy, wishing the safe delivery, and is akin to baby shower. So you wanted to know why it is done for both mother and baby, right? As the date of delivery comes closer, many physical and hormonal changes start to happen in the mother's body. The almost fully grown baby also goes through changes. The word Simanto Nayanam suggests the same. Sima means boundary. Ant means end. An means to open, while Nayan means eyes. Hence, the literal meaning of Simanto Nayanam is to open your eyes and transcend the boundaries and limitations. The ceremony is performed to purify the atmosphere where mother will be staying with the baby after giving birth. Family members invite friends, relatives. They meet, acknowledge, and satisfy all the desires of the expectant women. They give gifts to the mother and baby. The idea behind this is to ensure that the mother is content in all respects. So that is about the Simantonayanam. And then the fourth is Jata Karma, performed to welcome the newborn child into the world and as a reminder of its true divine nature. Then Namakaranam, ancient Vedic ceremony for naming the child, is usually performed on the 11th day after the birth with pujas, chantings, and celebration. And then Nishkramana. For the first time, child is taken out of the house and is shown good and auspicious symbols. This is usually done after the first month of the birth. Ideally, they're taken to a temple. And then Annaprashanam. During the 6th month, the child is fed solid food for the first time. Then Chudakarma. Chudakarma is also known as the Mundan ceremony, where the child's scalp hair is shaved off. It symbolizes cleansing, renewal, and new growth, and is marked as a new phase of life for the child. This is usually done within the first year of life. And then Karna Vedan. Piercing ears is believed to help in developing intelligence and enhancing immunity against respiratory infections. Then Vidyarambham. Vidya means knowledge and Arambham is beginning. Arambha is beginning. The child is introduced to the world of alphabets, is made to write the first alphabet. Upanayanam. It means going closer to the Guru or divine. It symbolizes spiritual rebirth and entering into the brahmacharya stage of life. The child is initiated into the most sacred Gayatri mantra. And then Vedarambham, that is the 12th one, means commencement of Vedas learning and is performed on an auspicious date after the Upanayanam in front of the sacred fire, and the student takes a vow of dedicating himself to serve his Guru and his family and live a disciplined life. Then Keshant. It is performed when the boys attain the age of 16 years. On an auspicious day, Lord Ganesha and other family deities are worshipped. Godana, donating a cow, is also part of the ceremony. This Keshant is for boys, but for women, for girls, the corresponding thing they've not mentioned here, but it is the onset of menarche, and that is what it is. Then Samavartan. Samavartana is a Vedic samskara which marks the end of a student life and the entering into a householder's life. The student offers Guru Dakshina to his Guru. It is like the graduation ceremony for the child. Vivaha. Vivaha is a commitment of everlasting companionship between husband and wife. The Saptapadi or 7 sacred vows are an important part of the wedding ceremony. And the 16th one is the Antyeshti. Antyeshti is the final samskara for the soul's journey on the earth. In the Vedic tradition, when the body is cremated, Vedic mantras are chanted and relevant rituals are performed. So basically, the 16th samskara, Shodasha samskara, is from the womb to the tomb. At different milestones, you kind of purify the whole, you purify the atmosphere, bring in that aspect of sanctity to enable the child or the person to reach higher scales, to reach his highest human potential. It's like you're creating a fence around a little sapling so that it grows up, so that the barricade, so to say, that allows them to grow well. Such a beautiful tradition we are born into, the Shodasha Samskaras. You can all read more about it. I will share it in the group.
Thank you, Brahmaraji.
Yeah. I think it's important for us to know this because it is, although it may not be directly related to our, you know, spiritual ascent, but then it is important as grahastas. If we have to hand this down over to our children, we have to know about it ourselves. No, so some basic knowledge is very important. So therefore, in the Vedic vision, a child is born of rituals and is maintained by rituals. Certain rituals are performed 3 times daily, at dawn, at sunset, and at noon, when the sun is directly above one's head. This is direct propitiation, as we have seen, all other activities being indirect propitiation. In this way, everything is a ritual, even eating. Only after 6 morsels of food are given to the Lord does one begin eating. There is another ritual at the end of the meal using water and a mantra. Bathing is also a ritual. A boy who has been initiated into the Veda has to do certain rituals from the time he gets up in the morning until he goes to bed at night. He has to remember certain chants in order to do the required rituals. Throughout his life, this continues. Commitment to Veda is a life of yajna. There are yet other rituals, quite a few in fact, that must be done on special occasions. One's entire life is a yajna, and the person is called a Vaidika, one who is committed to the Veda. To be a Vaidika is no joke. It means that the person is to perform all the enjoined rituals. In other words, to live a religious life. This is what Lord Krishna meant here when he said that when he created human beings, he also created yajnas. Prasava meaning growth is an interesting word here. You begin your life with just yourself. Aham, I, myself. When you get married, there are 2 of you, because of which there can be no end of growth. Thus, the singular becomes dual and then plural, 3, 4 or more. Thus, Krishna said that by yajna, may you grow, increase. Whenever the word said is used, as it is in this verse, there is always an intention involved. Thus, to understand a sentence, you have to see the intention. By giving human beings the rituals that are in the Veda, the Lord intended for us to grow. Let this yajna be for you, he said. Let it be the cow that yields anything you desire. Let it be your wish-fulfilling cow. The cow Krishna was referring to was certainly not your ordinary milk-giving cow. This particular cow called Kamadhenu belonged to the well-known sage Vasishta. One day, Vishwamitra the king came to the forest where the sage lived. The king was accompanied by a huge retinue, all of whom were hungry. Finding Vasishta's hut, they went inside and asked him for food. In only 5 minutes, food was served to them. When the king asked Vasishta how this had been possible, the sage replied that he had a cow in the yard. What does a cow have to do with all this wonderful food? The king asked. The cow gives everything, Vasishta replied. The king then asked Vasishta to give him the cow. Vasishta told the king that he could give him the cow, but it would not be of any use to him because it would yield only to one who is a Brahmarshi, and the king was a Kshatriya. The story is a metaphor based on the real meaning of the word Brahmarishi, one who has the knowledge whereby everything is gained. Vasishta had this knowledge and Vishwamitra did not. By knowing the whole Brahman as oneself, everything is as well known. Having this knowledge, the person has everything because he or she is everything. Vasishta's wish-fulfilling cow Kamadhenu stands for knowledge. Thus, Krishna is saying here, let the knowledge of Brahman prove to be a Kamadhenu. Let it fulfill all your wishes. What a wonderful way of describing Kamadhenu, the wish-fulfilling cow. So that is possible. It will yield only to a Brahmarshi, one who has Brahma Jnana. So therefore, let the knowledge of Brahman prove to be a Kamadhenu. Let it fulfill all your wishes.
And here, Vishwamitra is still with the Raga Dvesha.
He wants to acquire in order to be secure. He is following his Artha and Kama. Right? Whereas Vasishta is already a Brahma Jnani. He is a Jnani. So therefore, he has everything. He is everything. It's such a beautiful feeling, right? When you are reveling in the Brahman, in the knowledge of Brahman, there is no lack, there is no want. There is only fullness, there is contentment. Yeah. Definition of a Brahmana. When you have no wishes, you do not need any wishes fulfilled. Then that you are full and complete means that you have no wishes. But to know that you are full and complete, you must be a Brahma Rishi, meaning that you must be a knower of Brahman, a Brahma Jnani. There is an Upanishad called Vajrasuchikopanishad. Vajrasuchi meaning a diamond needle, one that pierces and thus defines. A Brahmana is defined in it as follows. A Brahmana is one who has Brahma Jnana, knowledge of Brahman, and everyone else is an Abrahmana. The wish-fulfilling cow will only yield to one who knows Brahman. Therefore, the cow would have been useless to the king. All he would have received from it would be milk. Would be a kick. This made the king very angry, of course, a typical Kshatriya response. He vowed that he would become a Brahma Rishi in order to get the cow, for which he performed enormous austerities, tapas. As long as he continued to be angry, he did not become a Brahma Rishi. In fact, as long as he wanted to become a Brahma Rishi, he did not become one. Eventually, having given up wanting to become a Brahma Rishi, he got the knowledge that made him a Brahma Rishi. In the Veda, the Lord said, let Yajna give you everything. Let it be your wish-fulfilling cow. Yajna is a prayer, as we have seen, and as yoga, it gives you Antakarana Shuddhi, purification of the mind, and then Jnana, knowledge. Mumukshus want to know, and for this they employ various means, various disciplines, all of which are Yajna. The wish-fulfilling cow is also said to be available in Indra's world. So, when you go there, please make sure that you see it. Just as when you go to Agra, you cannot come back and say that you did not see the Taj Mahal. So too, when you go to heaven, you had better look for Kamadhenu. This is Swamiji's humor. So, Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreya paramavapsyatha. Anena, with this, Devan, the deities, bhavayata, propitiate, te, those, Devaha, deities, Vaha, you, Bhavayantu, may propitiate, Parasparam, one another, Bhavayantaha, propitiating, Param Shreyaha, highest good, Moksha, Avapsyatha, you shall gain. Propitiate the deities with this yajna. May those deities propitiate you. Propitiating one another, you shall gain the highest good, moksha. Previously, the Lord had said, with this yajna, may you all grow. In this verse, Krishna told Arjuna how, by performing the daily rituals enjoined by the Veda, the various deities or aspects of the Lord are propitiated. The sun is a blessing, no doubt. But if you look at it as just a ball of fire, it is not a deity, a devata. It is purely an inert blessing. However, if you look at the sun as a devata, you are recognizing that it is non-separate from Ishvara. Similarly, with the other deities, water called Varuna, air called Vayu, fire, Agni, and earth called Prithvi, space, Akasha, is also a devata, as is time, Kala. Thus, there are any number of devatas whose blessings you partake of every day. There is an ecology at the level of your understanding with reference to free will, which is where the order that is Ishvara is to be appreciated. Daily yajnas imply your oblations, propitiation to all these devatas, who are Ishvara in the form of various forces. May you propitiate them, and thus propitiated, may they bless you. You perform your daily duties and prayers, and let the cosmic forces bless you. Let them bless you, and you propitiate them. May you not disturb the cosmic ecology by doing what is to be done. May you not disturb the cosmic ecology by not doing what is to be done. A recognition, a sensitivity is involved here. By recognizing the cosmic forces, you do not take things for granted. This is why children in India are told that they must get up before the sun rises. A child might think, so what if the sun rises? Let it rise. Why should I get up? But they are told that they must rise in time to welcome the sun. The sun is a blessing. And when a blessing comes, you should not be sleeping. You should be wide awake for its coming. A man had been meditating for 20 years. The Lord was pleased with his meditation and appeared before him. Unfortunately, the man was asleep at the time. This happens in meditation sometimes. And so the Lord came and went. The person had to meditate another 20 years before the Lord came again. But here, in the form of the sun, the Lord comes every day. Therefore, you should not be under the sheets when he comes. You should get up to receive the blessing that is the Lord. This kind of appreciation is what ecology is all about. There is no ecology other than your own understanding. You have to understand. Otherwise, there is no ecology. Ecology is only for the person who understands. Yajna requires sensitivity. There are those who say that if you have seen one redwood tree, you have seen them all. Ronald Reagan said this when he was governor of California, because timber companies were destroying all the redwood trees. He was asked to put an end to the destruction. Reagan's response was that they would keep just a few trees so that people could see them. He did not see why anyone would want to preserve these 100-year-old trees. This represents a particular level of understanding, and at this level, there is no ecology, only economy. And in the long run, there is no economy either. Therefore, ecology is an appreciation that is in your head. In other words, in the eyes of the beholder. It is not beyond the eyes. It does not exist outside. If you do not see it, it is not there. This then is ecology. Appreciation of Ishvara is also ecology, but at a deeper level. Ishvara is appreciated as the cosmic forces and is thereby propitiated. One of the forms of propitiation is daily prayer. Therefore, may you appreciate Ishvara in your prayers as the forces, the deities, and let them bless you. May you all grow by doing what is to be done. There is a mutual respect here. The deities bless you and you propitiate them. You offer your oblations and they offer you their oblations in the form of rain, energy, health, and so on. In this way, may you gain moksha param shreyaha, characterized by knowledge, in due course, step by step, not directly, not immediately, but by antakarana shuddhi, by preparing the mind, purifying it for the knowledge. If you die while pursuing knowledge without having gained it, it is said that at the very least, you will gain heavenly enjoyment, Swarga. Therefore, there is no loss. Swarga also stands for better births, meaning that in your next birth, you will go further along towards moksha. This interpretation is more relevant since the Gita is Moksha Shastra, not Swarga Shastra. Then Krishna said, we'll go to verse 12 tomorrow. We have 2 minutes. We can do a little bit of recap of the last 2 verses that we learned. See, when, what is that? Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise is a very, we've gone through this proverb from our childhood. So when you propitiate the Lord in the form of the sun by getting up early, you are inviting good health, energy, enthusiasm, and at the scientific level, this secretion of melatonin, it's a hormone that is important in regulating our cycles, our diurnal cycles, diurnal rhythm, and is important in so many other ways. That melatonin gets secreted when you are exposed to the sunlight. But for those who are asleep during the whole daytime, then there is a disruption in this cycle of the secretion of melatonin. So this propitiating the natural forces by doing this, by getting up and receiving and the blessing, in turn they bless you. So such a beautiful regulating, it's an auto-regulating mode. You take care of water, you make sure you don't use so much water. The water takes care of you. You will not end up with scarcity of water. Same with air, same with the environment, all the natural forces. Yeah, I think we will stop here.
But I also wanted to add here that scientifically all the hormones which are liberated, like at 5, serotonin is liberated. It's at its peak, the liberation of serotonin. And that is why we should not be asleep at that time. We should be walking around. So really, this scriptural knowledge is so much in sync with the science that is involved. And they say after dusk, 8:30 to 10, melatonin is at its peak. And that is why you need to go to sleep and not watch something that blocks melatonin. That is your mobile phone, TV, laptop, and all that. So that blue light which comes out from it blocks the release of melatonin. And that is why earlier in the villages, people used to go to sleep. They used to have a quick meal and by 9:30, 10, they would be asleep. So melatonin induces sleep, which leads to good health again. So much of relation is there with the hormones and the health factor also. That is scripturally, they have put it in a different way, but scientifically it matches what they have said.
Yeah, even in the Prakriti, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, that cycle also goes with the time. Morning time, it's sattva is high.
Jai Gurudev, I want to share here a little bit. I thoroughly subscribe to whatever the cycles of sunrise and sunset and everything, all our natural cycles and rhythms exactly match with that. That is the ultimate experience, being in the body. But I'm giving my best, but the way in childhood, the way we were brought up and all, that whole rhythm and cycle is completely disturbed due to the kind of lifestyles. In spite of having in art of living and doing all these practices, I am not able to come back to those natural cycles completely. If somebody can guide and help, it will immense. I am grateful to all of you. Please.
Can share a little bit.
Modern gadgets.
Hari Om, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can hear you.
please go ahead.
No, what I mean to say is like, I think Madhuri ji just now said, no, about the coming back to cycle. Okay, we need to do is, it applies to everyone, including me. Like in the childhood, we were asked to get up early and do some good things. We can start with that, number one. Number two, as we grew up, we started thinking that we know a lot and we started questioning. And like one of the members just now said about the science, serotonin, creatinine, whatever, that one. But to us, we were told, this is good, you follow. And here, what happens is the so-called scientist, whom I call the material scientist, what he does is, just a small example, which I always tell the Yuva Kendra children, which I read in one book. If a person is given a chocolate, what he does is he eats the chocolate and he feels happy. Then the chocolate gives him happy. What the scientist in the lab sees, tries to decimate, is what is in it, in the chocolate, when that gives you happiness, when it is put on your tongue. And he keeps on dissecting it. It has cocoa, it has sugar, it has flour, it has this, that, milk, and all that. But the real scientist, who is the Rishi, how he looks at is, it is the chocolate, and I put it on the tongue, it gives happiness. What is in me and my tongue that is present, that makes you feel happy when the chocolate touches your tongue. See the way how things are looked at in a different view. So that way, the science can never ever reach to that conclusion of the Vedic science. The Vedic science is the real science. The material science stops at some part. See, even the bosom lab, which says the God particle and all that, it says God particle. Beyond that, what? Whereas the Vedic science has much more to offer than that. So what I'm coming back to is, जब हम मान के चलेंगे ना, automatically बाद में some point जान जाएंगे. So that is where the anxiety or the agony, whatever is there, that we are not able to, that rhythm has disappeared. Rhythm will come back जब मान के चलेंगे with less number of questions in mind. That's what I think. Hari Om.
Yeah, thank you. I think we have actually exceeded our time. We wanted to propitiate Kala. Remember, we've read about propitiating different cosmic forces. Kala is also one of those. We are 6 minutes beyond our time. Nevertheless, I think Madhuri ji, if you follow Dinacharya, that is given again by Ayurveda, which is part of the Veda, when we follow Dinacharya and we sink into that, then automatically we'll be coming back to our natural rhythms. I think we'll stop for now. We will all look into what Dinacharya is. I'll, I think, post one. All of us have gone through that, but I will post it in the group. That way, I think we'll come back to our natural rhythm. Jai Gurudev. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Dhanyavad Sarve. Gurudev.